new opportunities for successfully planning and conducting future cooperation activities and further strengthen the security partnership between Guyana and the United States of America. This agreement will streamline the process of exchanging goods and services of equal value, allowing for greater focus on resulting defense cooperation activities and goals. Ladies and gentlemen, in the general sense, the signing of this agreement represents another significant milestone in the excellent relations between the United States of America and Guyana. I now invite the sign.
Recognize as well the importance of SOUTHCOM. To give you some insight into the Southern Command, the mission of the United States Southern Command, also referred to as SOUTHCOM, even though primarily is to defend the United States, it works with its partners at a military-to-military level, focusing on what its partners need, what is best for the partner's security, the assessed need of the partners by SOUTHCOM. And this as well reflects a positive impact on the security of the United States. Strengthening partnerships ultimately is the U.S. SOUTHCOM's primary effort to carry out its mission. The responsibility of the SOUTHCOM is to Latin America and the Caribbean, as I mentioned, but specifically to a total of 31 countries, from Guatemala to the Caribbean Basin, excluding those parts of the U.S. territory and Puerto Rico. Admiral Faller was selected out of other officers by the President of the United States for Commander of SOUTHCOM, which was confirmed by the Senate in August 2018. As we recognize the continuing of that agreement. And just to let you know that the Admiral, as part of his role as Admiral and Commander of SOUTHCOM, is to be not only the leader of SOUTHCOM, but to meet with the heads of partner countries, as we're seeing today, to develop a relationship, build trust, assess the needs, as I mentioned, listen, and ultimately learn. He believes, as his life's creed, is to lead, listen, and learn. This is done through leader-to-leader engagements, such as what is taking place currently to develop those relations, then the sharing of information in relation to the security situation in the country, and then exercises. During these exercises, strengths and weaknesses are identified, and more so, plans are made to strengthen those weaknesses. And we've seen the signing has been completed.
Honorable Prime Minister of Guyana, Brigadier Mark Phillips. Commander of the U.S. Southern Command, Admiral Craig Faller. Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister, Honorable Kwame McCoy. Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Godfrey, Bess. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Lynch, and other distinguished members of the U.S. delegation, ladies and gentlemen of the media. And I'd like to also recognize the presence of our National Security Advisor, Captain Jerry Gavaya. Good afternoon. You have just witnessed the signing of the acquisition and cross-servicing agreement between the Guyana Defense Force of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Department of Defense of the United States of America. I'd like now to invite Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Godfrey, Bess, to deliver remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister, Ambassador Sarah Lynch, United States of America, Honorable Minister Kwame McCoy, National Security Advisor, Captain Jerry Gavaya, other distinguished members of the United States, Admiral Faller. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media. I am pleased today to be joined by Admiral Craig Faller, Commander of the United States Southern Command. His presence here today symbolizes the excellent relationship which exists between the militaries of the United States of America and the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. I welcome him and his team to Guyana and the Caribbean. Guyana is part of a region which is prone to natural hazards and man-made threats. The former, natural disasters, have the potential to undermine security and stability. Each hurricane season brings with it the threat of loss of lives and destruction of property. Rising sea levels threatens the physical existence of our coastland and incursions into our residential and agricultural districts. Extremities of weather, now a feature of climate change, inflict flooding and drought, discommoding and at times displacing citizens. More pernicious threats are the transnational in character: terrorism, trafficking in narcotics, small arms, and human trafficking. These transnational threats undermine the rule of law and corrupt our youth and our institutions. They are a violent threat to national and regional security and stability. The smallness of the region's defense forces constrain their capacity to respond effectively and timely to several natural disasters. It is also impairs their efforts to arrest transnational threats such as the illicit trafficking in narcotics and small arms and human trafficking. These threats, if left unattended, can erode national security and undermine regional stability. The Guyana Defense Force therefore look increasingly to defense cooperation as a means of improving the responsiveness to natural disaster and transnational criminal threats. Defense cooperation also contributes to the enhancing the professionalism and training of our military officers. The Guyana Defense Force has a long tradition of defense cooperation with the United States. The Guyana Defense Force participates in annual exercise trade winds, which involve the United States, Canada, and other regional states. Officers of the Guyana Defense Force and civilians have also benefited from support of training under the International Military Education and Training Program. Guyana is a signatory of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, which has allowed for the building of partnerships in the security sector. Existing mechanisms for encouraging dialogue among defense officials and the recently signed Shipwrighter Agreement continue to enhance security cooperations between our respective defense forces. Today's signing of the acquisition and cross-servicing agreement between the Department of Defense of the United States of America and the Guyana Defense Force of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana build on these traditions of security cooperation between our two militaries. The Guyana Defense Force is pleased to be a part of this agreement. The agreement allows for greater predictability in our defense partnership. It establishes a formal basis for encouraging the exchange of services between the militaries of the Guyana and the United States. The agreement is predicated on the respect for each other's sovereignty and in accordance with the principle of non-interference in each other's international affairs. I'm confident that this agreement will advance the partnership between the militaries of the United States and the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. I thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier. Bess, I'd like to now invite Commander of the U.S. Southern Command, Admiral Faller, to deliver his remarks.
Good afternoon, Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency, ambassadors, friends, General Bess, my friend. It's an honor to be here to demonstrate yet another step in our long-standing bilateral military-to-military security cooperation relationship. It's another pivotal step forward together in our enduring partnership. This visit builds on the momentum gained by the Secretary of State Pompeo's visit, the follow-on visit by U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, and reinforces the United States of America's commitment to our shared regional security and the prosperity of the Guyanese people. The acquisition and cross-servicing agreement we signed today streamlines how our governments efficiently and effectively exchange goods or services to support effective and mutually beneficial defense cooperation. With this agreement, we are entering a new era of defense partnership. For over half a century, our countries have built a bond of friendship in our military-to-military cooperation. That kind of friendship we find among neighbors with shared values, neighbors who are committed to democracy. This past year, our partnerships, in fact, our global partnerships, were proven crucial as we all encountered the threat and the reality of COVID-19. The pandemic inflicted pain and devastation throughout the region and the world. In our hemisphere alone, claimed over 700,000 lives. Across Latin America and the Caribbean regions, when our partners asked, the United States of America stepped up and we responded. The United States has been the largest donor of COVID-related humanitarian assistance to date, $2 million to the government, to the country, to the people of Guyana. And Southcom, United States Southern Command, we've contributed $155,000 in direct support to your health ministry in support of COVID. Across the globe, the United States has stepped up and remained committed. Additionally, despite COVID, the United States stepped up with enhanced operations against transnational criminal organizations, along with other regional and international allies and partners. These transnational criminal organizations undermine democracy, and they kill citizens right here in Georgetown and in my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So that's why we're here. These threats require all of us to work together. This is our first visit in the new year, and it's to demonstrate to an important partner, a fellow champion of democracy, a fellow champion of the rule of law, human rights, and security. As I stand here alongside Brigadier Bess, I'm reminded that cooperation is key to success against every single challenge we face. What does that cooperation look like? It's the participation of Guyanese officers in our training and military education programs. It's the partnership between your Defense Forces, General Bess, and the Florida National Guard, our state partner for Guyana. As you mentioned, General, Guyana participates annually in Trade Winds, a multinational exercise that focuses on rapid response, disaster preparedness, and regional security. Guyana supports the ongoing maritime security initiatives to counter illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. And in fact, this week we had a short exercise with a Coast Guard cutter as part of Operation Southern Cross, a multinational regional exercise to shine the light on illegal fishing. And we partnered with you to strengthen regional security through the Caribbean Security Basin Initiative. It's the shared importance we place on the equal opportunity advancement of women in peace and security. Earlier today at the embassy, we met with a group of graduates from our international military education and training. It included prominent women leaders in the Guyana Defense Force. It's the donation of protective and medical equipment to citizens here on the front lines of COVID. And it's the long-term commitment that we have through our United States Southern Command Humanitarian Assistance Program to help with disaster response. It's the bilateral shipwrighter agreement that was signed by Secretary of State and then recently exercised with the Coast Guard cutter here in Guyana waters. And now it's the acquisition and cross-service agreement, which will allow us to strengthen our security cooperation even further. We are strongest when we work together. And I am certain that together there is no challenge or threat, our shared security, that we cannot face. I'm proud of the work we've done, and I look forward to our continued cooperation. We have much work to do as neighbors, as friends, and most importantly, as teammates who respect democracy, the rule of law, and values. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Faller. We'll now invite a few questions from members of our press corps. I'll just like to point out that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, point out that we have 2 mics just in front of you. I'm going to ask you to utilize those mics. Please, when you come to the mic, tell us your name, indicate the agency you represent, and then direct your question either to Brigadier Bess or Admiral Faller. Who will be the first? Marcel?
Good day, Marcel Thomas from the Starbuck News. Admiral Faller, you mentioned illegal fishing. I want to know, is there evidence of illegal fishing in Guyana waters? And if yes, where are those vessels coming from? And what could this country do to combat that threat? And I'll just give you both questions at the same time. My second question is, if the U.S. is concerned that Venezuela can pose a threat to ExxonMobil's offshore platform, given their latest decree over this country's waters.
Thank you, Marcel.
Every nation in the world deserves the right for sovereignty, and deserves the right to make their sovereign decisions over their own resources. I'll defer to the specifics with respect to any incursion in your exclusive economic zone for fishing to the Guyanese Defense Force or Guyanese officials. But globally, illegal fishing is a significant problem, and it is impacting food security globally. And we've seen recent incidents of that off the waters of Ecuador, where a Chinese fishing fleet of up to 300 vessels was proven to have incurred into the exclusive economic zone. And so our efforts, working bilaterally and then working regionally, are to increase and strengthen what we call domain awareness, which is a term for sharing information about who and what is moving on the sea and over the sea. It's very important, whether it's for illegal fishing or transnational criminal organizations and any other range of threat. And so earlier today and throughout the day, we'll be discussing practical ways to continue to enhance that domain awareness. It's important for the security of Guyana and the United States, and globally with respect to specifically illegal fishing. It's very important. It's a very important challenge. On the question of Venezuela, my visit today was planned months ago, some 5 months ago. I'm not the first United States Southern Command commander to respect the capability and the friendship and make this visit, and I won't be the last. This is a relationship, a partnership that's built to last. The controversy over borders and territory is, as our State Department has clearly articulated, is best left to legitimate international organizations that put this on a peaceful path. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Faller. I'll take the next one. Go ahead, sir.
Wendell Badri, HEB Nightly News. This question is for Admiral Faller. The U.S. has expressed political support for Guyana's sovereignty in the territorial dispute between this country and Venezuela. Could you expound further if that support extends to providing military assistance? And if your answer is in the affirmative, what would comprise that assistance?
Well, the U.S. supports the international process that's in place for peaceful resolution of a border controversy. Our focus, and the focus that General Bess and I have, is working on areas that we can enhance our bilateral relationship, things that will strengthen the security of the United States and Guyana. We start with education and training. And that education and training covers the range of threats. educating our officers and our non-commissioned officers, most important thing we do. Then we work in exercises. As I mentioned, exercise trade winds, it is our most important Caribbean-focused exercise. We work on being able to rapidly respond to a range of threats. In the exercise, these are hypothetical threats. In the real world, General Bess laid them out quite well. Natural disasters, the threat of transnational criminal organizations. And so we work hard at our education, our training exercises, so that we never have to fight.
Thank you, Admiral. Will there be another question from the Media Corps?
Samuel Suknandan, NCN News. Could you say what is the life of the agreement? And it speaks to defense partnership, the logistic agreement. Would this therefore mean that there will be a presence of the U.S. Navy, a greater presence of the U.S. Navy here in Guyanese waters?
The acquisition and cross-servicing agreement is fundamentally about logistics. And logistics, and we think of logistics, basic things, parts, things that you might need to fix your equipment or food or fuel, and our ability to trade goods and services while exercising together or operating together is important. And so what this does is it lays out that process, that framework, so then when we do need to share fuel or food or these basic fundamental things that are important to military forces working together, we can do that very, very efficiently as the General laid out. And so it sets the conditions for us to continue with our robust exercise program and train together, things that we have been doing and we look to continue doing in the future.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Dennis.
Admiral Faller, Dennis Chabral, News Talk Radio, Damara Waves. Sir, would the U.S. like to see a greater military presence in Guyana? That's a U.S. military presence, say, through bases, etc., either onshore or offshore? And to Brigadier Bess, sir, could you say whether, what exactly is the support you require from the United States should Venezuela become more aggressive?
The United States doesn't seek to have bases anywhere in the hemisphere. We seek to have the right military presence as invited by our sovereign partners. So we only come at the request of a mutually agreed partnership for an exercise or training. And so our future presence here will be determined by our hosts, our friends. And that presence will be in the form of exercises and training. We gain so much from the experience working with forces in the jungle and the rivers and offshore. General Bess.
Yes, in answer to your question, I must state that Guyana stands committed to a peaceful resolution of the situation with Venezuela. And with regards to support from the United States of America, we will continue to have cooperation with the United States of America, what we call defense diplomacy and cooperation, to continue to build capacity in the Guyana Defense Force so that we can stand ready to ensure that Guyana's patrimony are intact. It is important to note that the Guyana Defense Force have noted with concern the rhetorics from the President, the Vice President, and the Defense Minister of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. This matter has been discussed with the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency, President Dr. Irfan Ali, and our mode is to continue to work through the diplomatic channel to ensure that this matter is resolved peacefully.
Thank you, sirs. Would there be another question from any member of the press corps? Sorry. Okay, so I can't hear you, Marcella. Just a second.
Since the Admiral directed the question to you about fishing, I'm asking you, sir, has there been any evidence of illegal fishing in our waters here?
Yes, there have been issues of illegal fishing in Guyana's water, and we work in Guyana to our interagency approaches and channel to ensure that those issues are dealt with effectively.
Thank you, sir. So we only have
as a narco trafficker. In this agreement, it borders transnational crime. What would be the expected outcome given the state of relations between this country and Venezuela, bordering that which was just outlined, transnational crime in this agreement, and your Secretary of State referring to the President of Venezuela as a narco trafficker?
This agreement is about our bilateral relationship, and it's about our long-standing bilateral relationship, and it is not aimed at any nation state or any one particular threat. It's designed for us to be able to operate and train and exercise effectively together, period. The statement that our Secretary of State made is a fact. Nicolas Maduro is a convicted narco trafficker, and the evidence, hard evidence, significant increase in narco trafficking based out of Venezuela is there. We see it daily, and the hemisphere is impacted by that insecurity. The only one who benefits by that are Nicolas Maduro and his cronies.
Thank you, sir. Dennis, would you please come forward and ask your question?
Brigadier Bess, I want to know in the context of this agreement today, to what extent will the Guyana Defense Force continue to access materials, that's tangible goods from China? Because we know up to a few months ago, there were at least 2 incidents in which members of the Defense Force were, I think, killed and or injured as far as explosives were concerned. Are you going to scale back taking materials from the United States, from China, sorry, and more from the U.S. under this agreement?
Well, the government of Guyana, and which Guyana Defense Force is a part of, in our procurement process, we are bounded to use the public procurement process. And using the public procurement process would determine where do we buy from. Well, I would not say to you that this would change our relationship with any country. As a military officer, I do not deal with policies. but I work with instructions.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one final question from our friend from...
John O'Brien from the Evening News. My question to Brigadier General Bess, while I understand if you can give specifics, has the GDF stepped up vigilance or operations in the wake of the Venezuelan decree? And also, is the Sindicato gang still a security threat on the border areas? And one final question, a follow-up on my colleague's previous question. The vessels that are engaged in illegal fishing, can you say what your investigations tell you they're emanating from?
Okay, the last question first. The vessels that are involved in illegal fishing in our territory, most of them are emanating from our neighboring countries. And with regards to the other question, what was the other question, please? Just remind me.
Sindicato.
Yeah. Sindicato, yeah. Yes. The Sindicato threat, it's still there because we all are aware of the situation in Venezuela where the country, it's poorly led and there are economic and social issues that force non-state actors to survive. Because of our border with Venezuela, we definitely are affected by that. But I must say that we, the Guyana Defense Force, we are ever vigilant and we continue to work to ensure that the citizens of Guyana are safe. Additionally, we have changed our posters on the border, and we are there, more alert, and like I said, are ready to constitutionally continue to preserve Guyana's patrimony. I stated early, and I needed to emphasize this point, that our position, the government position, is that we are using the diplomatic channel as we speak. I am aware that the heads of CARICOM governments are meeting, and the CARICOM community has denounced the position that Venezuela has taken. The OAS Secretary General has also denounced that, and lots of our bilateral and international partners, as you would have noticed, have been in support of our position on the border issue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the time we have for the press conference today. Thank you, PM Brigadier Mark Phillips, for your presence today. Our U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sir Lynch, thank you so much, and your delegation. Thank you all for coming.
Heard and as well saw the live broadcast of the signing ceremony and joint press conference between the Brigadier Godfrey Bess, the Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, and Admiral Craig Faller, who is the commander of the the Southern Command. And just to give you some insights into what you would have heard just moments ago, for those of you who joined us a bit late here on NCN, one of the things that the Admiral did say is that, the U.S. government is not looking or is not seeking to have a base here in Guyana or anywhere for that matter in this part of the world, but rather to have a presence based on the need by Guyana through training or any other need that we may so identify and more so say what that need might be. But he did state that with regard to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and as well the recent decree as made by its president Nicolas Maduro, he said that he does support the channels we have taken, that is with regard to diplomacy, and that would be the International Court of Justice sounding its position that it can hear the case, and that he does look forward to a peaceful resolution with regard to this. But one of the key takeaways while we mull over the agreement and all the other things and the partnership between Guyana and the United States, as Admiral Faller actually said, is that this all demonstrates the importance of cooperation as the key to success, as Guyana continues to work with many of its international and regional partners to ensure that its needs are met and to be able to do a lot better for itself as we continue our bilateral relations. On behalf of our broadcast team here from NCN at Beridi Benab, I'm Narissa Pearson, thanking you for joining us and wishing you a great rest of the day.